Okay, so today is going to be a different vlog. Today is going to be all about the labor and delivery of my oldest daughter, Jordan. On August the 24th, I got up kind of early because I was taking my mom to work. And at that time, she had gotten herself in some trouble and was living in a place called Parole. It's called P&P, something in parole. Probation and parole. It's for people who are on either probation or parole who can't stay out of trouble. And she had gotten herself in some trouble, and I had to take her to work. So, I went and picked her up, and I had my little sister with me because I was also taking her to and from school. I was kind of my little sister's guardian at the time. She was a junior in high school, and I was making sure she was going to school like she was supposed to be while Mom was locked up. So I took my mom to work, and she worked at a peach orchard. And I had told her that I was starting to feel contractions, or I thought I was having contractions. And I thought maybe when I go to the doctor that something was going to happen and I was going to end up having to stay. And before I went, she told me to go ahead and get my little sister out of school a little bit early and take my sister because my husband now, but boyfriend at the time, was at work and he wasn't able to get off to come with me. So she had me take my little sister with me just in case something were to happen. So around 11 or 12 o'clock, I went and got my sister from school. And on the way to my doctor's appointment, I had her timing my contractions, which they were about 15 minutes apart. They weren't very intense at that point, but I was having contractions. And the doctor seen it when she checked my fundal height. I did not bring anything with me because I thought, man, I'm being crazy. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna have this baby yet. It's not time for that. Even though I felt like maybe I was going to be kept. But I figured my husband could bring him with me, which was my boyfriend at the time, once again. I went to my appointment. They weighed me. They took my blood pressure and all of those things. At this appointment, I had weighed 186 pounds. Before I got pregnant for my daughter, I was about 115, 120 pounds. The doctor came in to see me, and she said that my blood pressure was elevated, and the baby was okay, but was showing small signs of distress. It wasn't nothing major. I could probably make it through the weekend and then just come in on Monday and for an appointment, or if I didn't make it because I was already having contractions. But there was a possibility that she wasn't going to be the one to deliver because she was going to be gone for a week. She was in the military, and she left the decision to me. Well, I told her that if she felt like I should go ahead and go in and be induced, to go ahead and send me over because I didn't want to jeopardize my baby. So she said okay and said that we'll go ahead and send you over then and get you hooked up and going. So I went and got something to eat because it had been a while since I ate before I went to the hospital. And I called my boyfriend and I told him that it was time. He started freaking out. He was not ready. He didn't think that anything was going to happen. He didn't think that the doctor was going to put me in the hospital. So he was kind of going ecstatic. Even though he had 3 kids before, it was unexpected. So he got out of work and I told him what to bring me. I told him where the car seat was. I had him bring all that stuff with him. And then I went to the hospital. They weighed me there as well, did my blood pressure. They hooked me up to the monitors, got my IV run, and I was good to go. They talked about doing Pitocin, and they were going to do the Cervidil, which they did do the Cervidil. I had one pill, and it dilated me more, which I forgot to tell you is that my dilation, when I went to my doctor's appointment, I was dilated to a 3, and my effacement was 80% effaced with her at my 38-week appointment. So I was already starting to show that I was getting closer to having the baby. And then they put the Cervidil in, and I do not remember if they gave me Pitocin, because after the Cervidil, I started getting my contractions a lot harder, and I got some of that Stadol to help with the pain, and I got some Phenagrin because I got sick. I ate one of those ice cream things or icy things, whatever they are, that they give you when you're not supposed to eat anything else. So I got sick, and they gave me the Phenagrin and they gave me the Stadol. Shortly after getting the Stadol, I do not remember anything. So it was a lot of the things that happened during my labor and delivery for my first daughter, I don't remember. There's a few things here and there that I was told. I didn't get any pictures. People took pictures, but nobody gave me the pictures. But I do know that the Cervidil was inserted around 3 p.m.
Mommy, I went.
Sorry about that. Potty training a 2-year-old. Okay, so, anyways, they inserted the Cervidil around 3 p.m. I dilated for a little while. The doctor came in, I want to say between 4 and 5, but I'm not 100% sure, and broke my water. And with my water being broke, they got more intense. And with that being my first daughter, I had no clue that the best thing for me to do would be to get up and walk and move around and bounce on a ball and those things. I just thought that you just laid there and labored. Well, either way, my labor and delivery still wasn't that long. But they broke my water, and I think I got 2 or 3 shots of the Stadol for pain. I had a lot of family come in. I had my stepdad, I had his mom, his sister, both of his sisters, my sister, and my cousin Ashley has a son that was probably 3 or 4 at the time. There was like 10 to 12 people in my labor and delivery room. I had my husband there as well. His mom showed up. She wasn't able to be there. Chris's mom wasn't able to be there because she had to work, and her workplace is very strict. So she wasn't able to be there while I was laboring, but I did have quite a few people in there. Even when I was delivering, I had quite a few people in there. They didn't make people get out, which I thought was weird. But I don't remember a whole lot of that. I know at one point I got kind of intense and grabbed Chris by the shirt and pulled him to me real hard and held him close until the contraction went away. I told him I loved him for the first time, and I told him that like 2 or 3 times. I was very aggressive. There was at one point, my aunt looked at me, and they were helping me breathe through the contractions. She said, if you need to scream, scream. So I remember bellowing out, and I scared the crap out of my cousin Ashley's son. Okay, sorry. So, yeah, I scared the living daylights out of my cousin's little boy when I screamed. He ran out of the room crying. I felt so bad. But I did not realize what was going on, and I was in a lot of pain because I refused the epidural. I know Chris said that I asked for the epidural last minute, but I'm glad that they told me I couldn't get it because I didn't want it. I don't want the epidural for nothing unless I absolutely have to have it. I really don't even want it when I have my surgery to get my tubes tied after this baby is born. So, yeah. I didn't have my mom there like a lot of people do. Because she was in this place called PMP. She wasn't allowed to be out of this place after 9 o'clock. She has to be in by 9 o'clock. And if she's out after that, then they will take her to jail. So she had to go, excuse me, sorry. She had to go back to the place, and she ended up listening to me have my baby over the phone. She called right before I was fully dilated, which really I didn't even fully dilate. My doctor had me let me dilate to 9.5, and because I kept saying, I feel like I gotta push. I feel like I gotta push. She went ahead and let me push to have the baby. So, my mom got to listen to me have my baby. Jordan was born at 9:41 p.m. She was 6 pounds, 5 ounces, 19 inches long. She was a very happy, healthy baby. We had no issues. We went home on the 26th. They kept me all day the 25th to make sure everything was okay, and then sent us home early morning on the 26th. I think it was around 11, 12 o'clock when we got to go home. When we went home, that was a crazy day. My boyfriend at the time ended up catching our yard on fire. And they turned our electric off. Chris called up there and told them, hey, my girlfriend just had our baby. I've got to go get her picked up. Can I come and pay it afterwards, or I'll be up there to pay it afterwards after I get her picked up and bring her and the baby home. So we ended up not even getting to go right straight home. We had to wait because we had to wait for the power to be turned back on. But him catching our yard on fire, and there was no water because when they shut your water, or when they shut your electric off, they shut your water off because water and electrics run by the same company. So there was no water for him to put it out, so he ended up taking my brand new jug of milk and using the whole jug of milk to try and put out the fire. He had neighbors come help. They got the fire out, but then we had to wait a couple hours before we could go home. So it was crazy. But other than that, labor and delivery wasn't too bad. It was pretty painful. I don't remember a whole lot. But it wasn't that bad for me. Luckily, I wasn't one of them ones that had to have a C-section. I was very scared that I was going to have a C-section because of the fact that I'm just a scaredy cat, and I think the wrong way a lot of times. I'm a worry wart. So I kept thinking that maybe I'm going to end up having to have C-section and not be able to give birth to the baby and not experience it, but I've had no issues. So thank you for watching this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you're new, subscribe. Would love to have you be able to know when I post more videos so that you can see them when they're posted up. Thank you, and have a blessed day. Bye.